out there in Facebook Live land. We are here for our final episode of season 5. I am your host, Elianah Connie, and today, look who I got with me. It is my husband. Welcome to the Our Point of View talk show. We are so glad you decided to join us tonight. We have a great conversation for you all. First of all, before we even get started, I'm going to ask you to please share this with your family, your friends, somebody that you love, your bae, your boo, whoever you want to share with. We're going to be talking about marriage and relationships tonight. So please go and share and like this page, like our page here on Facebook Live, as well as on YouTube. Please go like, share, like, love, send the hearts, all those wonderful good things. But we are so glad you joined us tonight. I am here with my husband, Emmanuel. I call him Babe, but he does have a name. I call him B-A-B-E. He calls me B-O-O-B-I-E. I do have a name, Elianah Connie, and he has a name, Emmanuel. And we also have with us two wonderful people who I had the pleasure of being in the company of, celebrating his 50th, but really his 51st birthday. But that is our brother Tony and our sister Tanya Collins down there. Wave to the people. We are so excited to have. Ain't they cute, y'all? They make such a good couple, don't they? Cute. I know. And then we have our very, very special guests. I am honored that they are even here, that they took the time out to just be with us. And that is in the person of Bishop Claude and Mother Desi Campbell, who I have known since I was in my teenage, just getting saved years. And they have been married 65 years. I guess they must have got married, I don't know what, 15, Lord, because they look wonderful. But they've been married 65 years. And so they're going to join the conversation as well. Tony and Tanya, how long y'all been married?
23 years this year. November is 23 years.
23 years this year.
We're the newlyweds of the bunch.
Yes, they're the newlyweds of the bunch. And actually, it's funny you said that, because I did have a newlywed couple. They had only been married 3 years, but their baby got sick. She just had the baby, and so they could not join us, but they sent in some questions as well, because I wanted to get all the different generations on, because a lot of young people are getting married, and, my son is newly engaged, and, they telling us we old school and it's different now and all that. And like I said to him, I said, listen, you chew out the meat, you spit out the bone. Chew the meat, spit out the bone. Some stuff gonna be good for you, even in your age, because they're like 26, so they feel like we all old. We ain't never too old to learn. Never too old to learn. And so my husband and I have been married 30 years in January. So we are celebrating 30 years coming up January. So celebrate us. That's wonderful, honey. It's a blessing. It is a blessing. They don't start.
Bishop seems surprised.
Yes, it seems almost impossible to be 30 years already.
It's 30 years, Dad.
Yeah, Bishop, we remember when.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
Yes, you do. But coming up on July 17th at 8:34 p.m. It's a Saturday, July 17th, because I met her on July 17th, 30 years ago at 8:34 p.m. in New Brunswick, New Jersey, in front of the light and the phone booth in front of the Elks Club. So that's when I actually met her. Okay,
that is true.
And so we still hitting 30 years in about 3 weeks.
That's true.
Because I married you a couple of months later.
Yeah.
I proposed to her literally, I proposed to her
2 weeks.
2 weeks after seeing her.
Yes.
Oh, boy.
And we've been married and then got married, Bishop. You remember we got married only 3-4 months later.
Well, we got married. You proposed. We met in July. You proposed 2 weeks after that. We got married January of that year. We were supposed to get married May.
That was too long.
And he pushed the date up.
That was too long.
January.
That was too long. I waited too long for you, baby. I waited too long for you. I waited too long for you.
So with that being said, we're going to ask Tanya and Tony how they met.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. I just told my kids about this the other day too, and it was funny because they were surprised to hear it. But I used to own a transportation company. I transported kids. Tanya worked at a psycho ed educational center, with kids with, severe and profound issues, mental issues. And I was taking a kid that attended the school. I drove him to school every day. And when I went in this particular day, I saw a young lady. She looked like she was 12. I swear she looked like she was 12. And so I said, man, that is a cute little girl. She looks too cute to be, special, to be, and so it just happened that she walked in the same office I went in, and her boss, who was the lady I always dropped the kid off to, introduced us. I guess she knew something we needed to meet. So she introduced us. And at the time, we both were dating other people. And we just kind of became friends, and the stars aligned. And, the same time that she went through a breakup, I went through a breakup, and I guess it was meant to be, for sure. It was meant to be.
Yeah, the mess had to be cleared out.
Yeah, the mess had to be cleared. There you go, man. And let me just say, by the way, and I'm not finished, but let me say, by the way, before I forget, Emmanuel, that it is something when a man can say exactly, not only the day, but the exact time that you met. That's something that shocked me.
I can tell you exactly what she was wearing.
Man.
Head to toe. Her hair was pretty laid back. She had on this sundress, Bishop. She didn't have her church outfit stuff on, Bishop.
Okay.
Okay. She had, because her cousin told her, because me and Reverend Al Sharpton, you remember me and Reverend Al Sharpton was really in the front line of police brutality in New Jersey and New York. So Reverend Al Sharpton us went up to New Brunswick, New Jersey, because of a police brutality shooting that killed this young brother, Sean Potts, in the driveway. And the police officer claimed that he slipped and his feet went into a box and he slipped and his gun discharged. And that's how Sean Potts was killed. So this thing with police brutality been going on for a long time, but her cousin, her first cousin, older cousin, bless her heart, her name is Kathy Guerrero, told her, my wife, girl, you got to come and meet this bad brother coming with Reverend Sharpton that's going to speak. You got to come and meet him. Now, I didn't know nothing about she, set this thing up. So, but I came up there, Bishop. I was clean, had a navy blue double, brother looked sharp in navy blue, had navy blue suit on, my gaiters on. I was cut, security with me and everything. So I went in there and blew it out. Reverend Sharpton got mad because he said, don't you ever put me behind that Negro again. I'll go before he speaks. But then afterwards, the people over at the Elks Club, and they was,
but babe, you wasn't telling our story yet.
That is our story.
Tony and Tanya tell their story
already.
So Tony said he wasn't
I was going to let you have the floor, man. It was
go ahead. I'm sorry, Tony. I can hold it.
It was interesting.
Keep going.
But so to finish up, we met that way, and that was in 1993, in January of 93. Don't remember the date or the time, but it was January 93. And then she eventually started working for me. I had that transportation company morphed into an after-school program for underprivileged kids that I opened up. And she worked for me, her and a lot of other teachers worked for me in an after-school program. And ironically, and she doesn't remember this, but this is one of the things that I fell in love with her about, was that the state shut me down. They shut my program down. And so for about a month, I was going to the building every day depressed. I mean, I blew through all my savings, and I was just at the office every day depressed. She would come by every day after school and check on me. And then one day she shows up at the office with a $20,000 check. She had went and gotten a personal loan for $20,000 and given me the check because I'd been offered an opportunity to start a foster program. The county DFACS officer came and talked to me about considering opening up a foster program. And so Tanya gave me from her $20,000 seed money. And it was obviously so unimportant to her that she don't even really remember it, but I always will remember that. If it wasn't for her, we probably wouldn't be where we are today. But that I'd started the program, started the foster program. I made her a partner. And from that point on, I mean, we just been stuck together ever since. So we got married in 98, 5 years after meeting. She told my grandmother in the early 90s that I was going to be her husband one day when I got all of that out of my system. My grandmother told me this at our wedding reception after we got married. My grandmother she never told me this until after we got married. So I like her because she told me years ago she was gonna be your wife after you slowed down and got out of the streets. And sure enough, she waited around.
Wow.
She waited around. Yeah.
Awesome story, Tanya. Is that your version? Because you know they be trying to now. Is that
that's it. He has to get that garbage out first. Yes.
Wow.
Let me ask you this, Tanya. Let me ask you this. You literally took it upon yourself without his knowledge or any inclination that you just said to yourself. Now, he wasn't your husband at this point.
No, it wasn't.
But you just said, I'm going to be that help me. Huh?
Yes, I did.
That's going to be your husband. And you went to the bank and got a loan
and gave it all to me.
And then just brought him the check.
Yes.
Wow. He better have married.
He better have married.
Bishop and Mother Campbell, listen, that she had a lot of faith.
Love at first sight.
She had a lot of faith, I can tell you that. She was truly, truly led by faith because, boy, ooh.
He was a mess.
I was a mess.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I'm always a loyal mess.
Yes.
I'm loyal. Yes.
Loyal mess. Amen. We thank God loyal.
Yes.
Bishop, Mother, if y'all can go back that far, tell us a little bit about how y'all started. Hello? They might have froze.
They did. They did.
Okay.
So until they come back in,
and then
I will pick up where I left off. July 17th, 30 years ago.
In front of the Elks Club.
In front of the Elks Club. 8:34.
8:34, I'm sorry.
8:34 p.m. Don't mess up the time now. Don't mess up the time. Don't mess up the time. And man, this woman, her sister afterwards, so people doing the meet and greet afterwards. And her cousin came over and said, I want to introduce you to my cousin. So when I saw her cousin, I went to go shake her hand. And then for some reason, her hand was glued to mine because it wouldn't leave. And I just said to her, oh my God, she was so beautiful. She had this bandana strap going around her head that matched her little sundress. She had these pretty little white socks on. You know, her legs was just shining like pure gold, not a mark nowhere on them. She had these nice little sneakers on. Tony, let me tell you something, bro. The next day in the afternoon, sister girl was feeding me chicken wings and a cookout. And just wiping the corner of my mouth. I said, this is it right here. This is it right here.
Did you ever let her hand go? Did you ever let her hand go?
I had to let it go to go home because I lived like
30 minutes,
45 minutes from where she lived. So I lived in Trenton, New Jersey. Then she lived in Brunswick, New Jersey. And let me tell you something, brother. When I got home, I couldn't wait to call her. And I said, Lord, I hope she ain't give me no payphone phone number. And then I kept calling her phone and she wasn't answering. So I called her cousin, Kathy. And I said, Kathy, I'm calling your cousin, but she's not answering the phone. And she says to me, oh, she's sitting out on the porch. I said, well, can you tell her I'm trying to reach her? So she went in the house, called me. That was like, she got on the phone about 11:23 p.m. that night. On July 17th, 30 years ago. Do you know, Tony, what time we got off the phone? When we got off the phone, it was like 6:40, 6:50 a.m. the next morning. Yeah. We stayed on the phone the whole night. And then she told me, oh, I got to get off the phone so I can go clean my car before I come down and see you today.
Okay. Okay, no, that is the truth. But Mike, if you can let Bishop and Lady Campbell back on, they said that they had froze, so he took it out to try to reset it. So they should be in the waiting room waiting.
There they go. Okay.
Yes. All right.
Hallelujah.
All right. All right, Mom. All right, Dad. So
we'll come back to me later. We'll hear about from Bishop.
Yes, let's hear from Bishop and Mother on how they met.
Well, you know, I'm listening to each of you talk about the time you met. I don't even remember when we met. We were very young, and in church, of course. My parents decided to change memberships, and that's how we met. She was a young lady that was seeing somebody else,
Okay, Bishop.
And she was seeing, and I had to be aware because the young man that she was seeing was a pastor's son.
Oh, yeah, you gotta be careful.
And he was a good-looking guy, and of course, I had my ways as well, but I had my eyes on her, but I could not let many people know it. At that time, we were having services. He was our pastor every other Sunday. Second and fourth Sunday, he was at our church. First and third Sundays, he was at another church. So first and third Sundays, I had an opportunity to share to share friends with somebody else. I had to keep it secret. I couldn't let the pastor know that I was seeing his son's girlfriend. So, but the man upstairs, he kind of worked it out for me.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Jeez.
He worked it out for me because on the first and third Sundays, I had a good old time. At second and fourth Sundays, it was different because I couldn't let it be known. And the next thing I had working against me was her first cousin. Her first cousin, who was real tight with the pastor's son. So he was trying to keep her for the pastor's son, but I was working on first and third Sundays. I was working, for my own, and I was only waiting for him to make a mistake because she gave me certain signals that I could be the main person. But
did you hear your dad?
but we had to keep it to ourselves, Second and fourth Sundays, I was singing on the choir and playing the drums and everything. But eventually it worked out.
Obviously,
I guess so. 65 years.
It worked out.
Hey, Bishop,
He ain't have a chance, Bishop.
The people are laughing at y'all, Bishop.
Bishop. He ain't have a chance, huh, Bishop?
Bishop, somebody said you had the right DNA.
But he didn't know.
Bishop gives him his best sermons on first and third Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Singing too. And then we were singing on the same choir, and we started the broadcast. And that really gave us a chance because the Lord blessed with a bus. And we used to go from place to place on the bus. And of course, she was sitting with me first and third Sundays on the bus doing the program. And all I needed for him was to make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited patiently.
He waited patiently.
How long, Bishop, did you wait? How long did it take, Bishop?
Well, you know what? It must have taken maybe 2-3 years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you waited.
Yes, it was a while. We waited.
So Bishop, y'all got married at what age were you when you got married?
Oh, I was in my 20s when we got married.
Both of them.
Wow.
Yes. Every summer.
So was it your early 20s, 21, 22, or was it older?
22, 23.
Wow.
So,
Yes.
so Mother Campbell, you was 22?
Yes.
Yeah, she was about 20, 21, 22. It's been so long, 65 years. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Just lose count, huh,
you
Bishop?
should- after that. I mean, after
Go
that,
back and find out.
right? And how old are you all now, both of you?
how old are you?
65.
Brother Campbell, he got you from the nursery?
I'm getting there, baby.
They want to know how old you are, dear.
I mean, you said that.
How old are you?
67.
How old are you?
Oh, 87. You know I'm old.
You say you're old, huh?
87.
87?
Wow.
Whoa.
87.
Woo, you look
I
good,
just-
mama.
Fantastic.
I have on these dark glasses. I put them. I don't know where I lose my glasses.
Your regular
I
glasses.
just
Okay.
That's all right,
I'm
mother.
kind
You look wonderful.
of losing track.
Yes, that's all right.
65,
You
I
look
said.
beautiful.
Yes.
Oh my God, 87.
87. You look fantastic.
Y'all look
And the
good.
fact that y'all are still here and
Look,
can
and your
talk
skin
and
looks
having
so
this
beautiful.
conversation.
You know what they
I
say,
mean, that's
black
a
don't crack,
blessing.
and you look good, mama.
A blessing.
You look like gold.
And how old are you, Bishop?
89.
89?
October 6th, Lord willing, I'll be 90 years old.
Oh,
Woo.
I'm coming.
I'm coming, Bishop.
I'm at the.
Tony,
Come
we
on.
going up there when he
We-
turned 90, right,
Jonathan?
Bishop? Tony,
Yes.
we going to New Jersey when he
Listen.
turned.
Listen, man.
Y'all had that
Huh?
90
Celebrate
put us
that.
on the list. We
Yeah, we
have to
coming
come
at.
celebrate
Yes,
that.
yes.
You
Yeah, it's-
look absolutely
Fabulous.
fantastic.
We're
And
You in
we're
the weight room,
blessed.
Bishop?
just-
Bishop, are you in the weight room?
No,
No, he just looks great. That's the Holy
I
Ghost.
just,
Come
I
on,
stay
Bishop.
busy. I
That's
stay
the
busy.
ministry.
You stay
I stay
busy.
busy all the time,
Yes.
Yeah, you look
but
great.
you know, the Lord is good. Lord's good.
Yeah, you look good.
And
Our
I'm asked many
viewers,
times,
um,
how do you feel? How do you feel at your age? I said, I really don't know how you're supposed to feel at my age, but I believe I feel pretty good
You know, just to see.
because of what I do, you know, what I can do, and the Lord is good.
Bishop, you
Yes,
look
indeed.
no,
fabulous.
you look great. Everybody's saying they're loving it.
You
They're
look
enjoying
fabulous,
y'all. Y'all are
Bishop.
so funny. Mother was 22 and daddy was 25. That's what Desi said. Mother, you was 22. And Desi is their daughter, who is my very dear friend.
Yeah.
one of the sons of my mother. But she said mom was 22 and dad was turning 25 when they got married. But everybody said you look beautiful, mother, for 87. Fantastic.
Oh, and I hear you can still dance, mama.
Oh, whenever the Lord
Huh?
whenever he began to use and speak, I can move.
All
Might not
right.
be as fast. It might not be as fast as I did
You
I
10 years
love it.
ago. But
Right, but you still moving, mother. It's a blessing. Absolutely a blessing. We
Amen.
thank God for you. Now, Dad, I want
Continue
our
to
viewers
pray.
to know that Bishop Campbell is still the pastor. Well, Bishop, he's still pastoring and in Vauxhall, New Jersey, right, Dad?
Union, yeah,
Vauxhall.
yeah.
Go
Union,
ahead.
yes, I'm still pastoring,
Tell
and
the-
I'm also the bishop of the organization,
Of the
United Church of
United
God.
Churches of God,
Yes,
international, worldwide. He's major. So for him to come and be on here with me, I know I'm special because he did me. I know you did.
well, you know, you've been special to us for a long time.
Yes,
Oh,
yes.
thank you.
yes.
you were very, very young,
Yes, I
Yes.
was, mother.
and you are yet young.
Thank
Yes.
you. And he sings. Bishop is multi-talented bishop. He can sing to the heavens, y'all. I mean, growing up, he was just awesome. And it's just a privilege and an honor to have them both here. Now, I want to ask you, Bishop, where did you, both of you are from the South, right?
Yes.
North Carolina, yes.
North
We
Carolina.
were both born in a little place called Rayford, North Carolina. Later, my parents moved to Fayetteville, which is only 21 miles from Rayford. And
Okay.
we continued to serve in the same church, 21 miles away. And we've done that for years. years until my parents went home to be with the Lord. So at that time, I was in New Jersey. I came to New Jersey in 1954, and I've been here ever since. So it's been a blessing.
Yeah,
And
everybody said they can't believe y'all at that age. Everybody that's on Facebook, they're saying y'all look fantastic. Somebody says, sing, Bishop, sing.
Bishop, for us younger folks, what would you say was the secret to reaching 65 years of divine and holy matrimony? Because there's a difference. There's a difference, especially when it, you know, the woman you married is beyond a queen. That's that virtuous woman. And what will it take for others to reach this kind of glory in marriage with the master of the universe has blessed you with such a soul mate?
Well, you know, I say so many times, it's a real blessing that the Lord have allowed us to be together. As I expressed in the outset, the way we met and the time that it took for us to really get together. I feel that it was the plans of the Lord because I loved her before. And as I stated, that I was waiting for a mistake. And he made a mistake. So we got married, and I listened to you. We were planning to get married later on in the year, but I just decided that I couldn't wait for September to get married. So April, we got married. It was supposed to be in September.
That's right.
But we got married April Fool's Day. April Fool's Day was on April 1st, 1956. 1956. So it has been a blessing to have this lady as my wife. She was a worker before I married her. Now I'm talking to her. We live in our bedrooms are upstairs. We do have a washroom in the basement. Sometimes I'm talking with her and I think she's still in the other room. She's in the basement. So I've always tried to be nice to her. It was my desire to be nice to my wife, and she has always been nice to me. Wow. And I've worked very hard. We've been blessed. Wow. I say we have been blessed. Wow. I'm not bragging, but we've owned homes. We have bought brand new cars, and we've been in love. Beautiful. And I believe she loved me still because she still gets up in the morning and makes my grits and sausage and eggs. So it has been wonderful. The Lord bless us with four beautiful children. We have 6 grandchildren. We have 3 great-grandchildren. Wow. We have a host of children like Connie and all the other, daughters and sons we have. Yeah. And we've been in the church all this time. Bishop Seawright, Bishop George Seawright, with the group Cope. Yeah. I used to give him a chance to preach at my church when he just started out. So true. And look where he is today. The Lord has blessed him tremendously. And I'm very proud of Bishop and his wife. They are our children. Yeah. And so we just thank God for being able to do what we do still and to love people as we do. People do love us, we believe. We have hundreds of godparents, godchildren, all over the country. Yeah. So we've been blessed. And I feel blessed. And I thank God every day. And I never thought that I'd be doing what I'm doing in the church, even with the organization at this age.
Yeah.
Because I thought to retire. And of course, I am retired from the job, but you know what church work is like,
Yes.
especially during this pandemic. But God is good. He's still good. Still good.
Tony,
I still drive. People ask me, do you still? Yes, I do still drive.
And want me to drive.
Yes, but she says, I can't see. But you guess what? She can see all of my mistakes. But she can't see. But she drove a long time. She still drives when she have to.
Yeah.
And God has been good to us. Been good to us.
Wait, I want to ask Mother one question before you go. Mother, so when Dad got on your nerves, Mom, right?
Yes.
What did you do? How did you handle it? Put her back in the frame, Jonathan. Thank you. There she go. So how did you handle it, Ma? If you can share with us women how to handle conflict with our husbands, what do we do?
Well, love makes the difference. Love makes a difference. You have to love. Be sure you love each other. So whenever he get on my nerve,
I knew that was coming.
on my nerve, and as I say, my sanctified nerve.
There's a nerve and then there's the sanctified nerve. Yes, Mom, I understand.
Sanctified nerve.
Yes.
But he can look at me or say something, and sometimes I just I start laughing.
That's what.
And then sometimes, well, you wonder what happened. You might say,
Pout a little while.
Well, he said pout.
You know what pouting is?
Not
What
talking.
is it, Bishop?
You're not
You
talking.
know what pouting is?
Sir, tell us.
Well, when you don't respond as you did before. See, and I've always had a way to get through that. See, when she decides she want to be, upset or mad, I had a way of making her laugh.
Oh,
Making her laugh. See?
making me laugh.
And then the first thing you know, it's over. See, my theory is that you should not go to bed at night, go to bed angry and upset, arguing and carrying on. Nice. You should get it straight before you go to sleep.
That's good, Bishop.
See, even if you have to go in the water, go in the kitchen and get a glass of water, or do something to get it straight before you go to sleep. Because my theory is you may not wake up the next morning.
That's right.
So, and you don't want to go to bed wrong, and who knows what's going to happen during the night. So we've been able to make it through like that. And we've gone through even business deals and things like that. We've had problems, and we've been in business, cleaning business for 7 years. And of course, I worked a job for 26 years.
And press.
And I passed it 26 years and worked a full-time job.
Wow.
So I sometimes I feel like it's what you do and how you feel about what you're doing. You don't do it in a way that you feel like you are being oppressed, being made to do something. You do it because you want it. And if you want to have something in life, there are some sacrifices that you have to make. It's not going to come and sit down in your lap. I always said to young ministers, I mean, you really don't have to quit your job too soon. If the Lord blesses you to do so, good. But if you can't pay the bills, you can't pay the rent, get a job.
That's right.
That's right.
Work during the day and preach at night.
Preach at night.
Teach Bible study at night. Go back to work the next day.
Right.
Because Sunday is coming. Sunday you have all day long.
Right.
And of course, you can make it. And I found out if you put the Lord first, He will work things out.
Because I believe, Bishop, that, you know, echoing what you're talking in terms of don't go to sleep angry at night. I believe don't bring conflict in your bedroom.
Right.
Leave it outside the door.
Yeah.
Pick it up afterwards when you leave back out the bedroom if you choose to. Don't bring it into the
Who
bedroom.
taught you that?
You didn't. I'm
Man,
trying to
I
tell
taught you that.
you that. That's where I got it from.
You got that from
Oh,
me.
really? But the
I
point I'm
taught
making
you
is
that.
leave it outside the bedroom. Don't bring it into
Absolutely.
your bedroom. Tony, Tanya, what would you say has been in your 23 years? Tanya, I'm gonna ask you, you know.
Yeah, we haven't heard from
Tanya,
Tanya. That's it.
in your 23 years, what would you say have been one of the I mean, you know, we say for better or for worse. And sometimes that worse is a real challenge for a lot of us. And you don't know what your test is going to be in that worst column. But if you're married, as long as any of us been, there's been some worse encounters. And it's obvious that you overcame those worst encounters. Would you say, what is the secret that helped you with the worst?
I think
Because today, the marriage, people do not respect the institution of marriage.
right.
Not according to divine order. They do not respect
That's right.
it. And people take it like it's just a little Cinderella thing. I want to get married, and they don't understand. They think that one little piece of paper is what makes it, but no, not that paper. You in the wrong paper. The paper you need to look at is starting off in Genesis 2:7.
That's right.
Woman for the help meet to man. So what I'm asking you is, in your work, what do you see is a secret to overcome the worst?
Prayer. You have to have prayer and you have to have faith. And when it's the worst of the worst, I tell them all the time, I'm getting on my knees. When I get on my knees and I go in the closet and I'm praying, I'm going to pray this out because He's coming for you. You know, He is coming for you. He will be there. And so if you don't have that at the top of your priority list and you are not doing it, it won't work. But prayer and having faith and believing that nobody is perfect, no marriage is perfect, and you have to take the good with the bad and the ugly.
Right.
And as long as you overcome it by praying and having faith, you will be okay. But prayer has done it. I mean, prayer has kept me, you know, through those challenges. I mean, faith and believing that, you know, forgiveness of sins. You know, we have to forgive the meanness and the frustrations and the conflict. So that's what I say is the root of it all.
Yeah, I can agree.
Tony,
I agree.
What changed you? What changed you in that time that you had such a wonderful woman just waiting? What was it that turned the light on and say, you know, this is what I got to do?
Well, I tell you, as I said, and she probably agreed to, because she will agree to this, and that is that from the time I met her to the time we got married, we really were friends more of that 5 years than anything else, because she kind of quickly realized that I wasn't quite ready for what she needed. And what ended up happening was we were business partners, because once she gave me that $20,000 check, I said, listen, you my partner, you business partner. I owe this to you.
Did not expect.
Right, you're no longer an employee, you are a business partner. We set out to do our work. You do our work together, and I tell you, just to kind of talk about that for a minute, that was some of the best time in my life, best years of my life, is that her and I were working together to help, you know, foster boys. We had 18 foster kids, 18 foster boys at any one time. We had about 35 mentally challenged individuals that we served. And that giving giving and that then teaching our sons empathy and all that. That was the best time of my life. But the thing about it was that I never forget my oldest son. So we had our son about 9 months before we got married. And after she had our first son, in my mind, I still had no thought about being married. I knew that I loved her, that you know, she was always going to be in my life. I figured, I always used to say, well, if I ever was going to get married, she'd be the woman I married. But I still, in my mind, thought I wouldn't be married. And I never forget, my oldest son was about 2 months old, and I was at her apartment, and she'd cook dinner. And back in those days, man, I got to tell you, my wife's only specialty was fried chicken, cream corn, and mashed potatoes. I didn't eat that every time I ate at her house, but I just appreciate her cooking. I appreciate her trying. And so we're sitting there eating we're sitting there eating, and she said, me and Taj, my oldest son's name is Taj. We have 3 sons, by the way, but our oldest son, Taj, was in the bouncer on the table. And she said to me and Taj have something to ask you. And I think to myself, my son can't say nothing. He's like 2 months. I said, what? She said, will you marry us? And I thought about how deep that was for me. It was like, that was the start of me seeing that. And I will say that one of the things that I think, she didn't say it, but I think has kept her through the thick and thin, through turmoil, and for me too, is that she's always reminded me that it's us. It's not just me and her, it's our family. I used to ask her, and to this day I'll ask her, who do you love? And she'll say us. And she means our family, our family unit. And that to me made it bigger than just her. It made it bigger than just me. It made it about more than just us. It made it about what God blessed us with. 3 boys, you know, marriage, you know, and stuff like that. And so, but I never forget though, I said yes. And in March, the following month, her older sister got married in New Orleans. And if you know anything about New Orleans weddings, they're always huge weddings. And so I'm in the wedding, she's in the wedding. And after the wedding, and she's Catholic, by the way, and I'm Methodist, but so we're leaving the Catholic church and headed to the reception. And I'm in one limo with all the groomsmen, and she's in the limo with the bridesmaids. And I felt such a deep, at that moment, seeing her in her bridesmaid's dress, seeing this marriage, her sister, and this was really like the first wedding I'd ever been to. And it was a big one, and it was a special one. It just looked special. It looked, everything about it looked good. And so I was so caught up in who we'd become, you know, having, you know, gone through 5 years of business partnership and all that stuff. And now we have a son together, and we're doing it well. I mean, we're really doing everything. God was blessing us in so many ways. And I just was compelled to call her on the phone while we're in the limos, 7 limos, and say, listen, Tanya, we hadn't made it, set a date. In my mind, to be honest with y'all, it would have been 2-3 years later. But at that moment, I was compelled to call her and say, listen, let's get married quick. Let's do this quickly. And so we talked to her mother at the reception. Her mother said, listen, y'all just give me to November, because her mother really wanted to pay for the wedding and stuff. And so just give me, I just paid for Donna's wedding, give me to November and I'll be ready. And so we waited to November and got married. But all throughout our relationship, our marriage, all throughout, even when I know I've done wrong and she's upset, but like she said, she'll go away, and I know she's praying, or she'll still love me unconditionally without. I know she's mad, but she's not going to stop doing what she does to show me that I'm loved. And so it is all those times that I know that God sent her to me. God sent her, she was for me. No ifs and buts about it. I mean, it's just no ifs and buts about it. I mean, I love the fact that she says it's us. It's always been us, the That's family. Yeah. You know, and that to me speaks volumes. I love. I'm sorry.
You know, Tony, that is
Wait,
absolutely
but let me say
amazing.
something, baby.
Great.
On here, that's what they're saying. Like, wow, they never heard that us. Like, they're saying like that was powerful. It wasn't just about you and her. It was about the us. That means the whole entire family, you, the children, everybody. Will you marry us? Tanya, high five a sister. You did that, boo. I love it. That was it. That was it. That was powerful, though. That was very, very. And one thing else I wanted to piggyback off of was Tanya was saying about the prayer. You know what I mean? And
That's it.
so it was prayer. I understand wholeheartedly, and I think every woman can attest to, and even if it wasn't a woman that was reared in the church, knew nothing about God, wouldn't say nothing, we women knew when you got into that turmoil and into that situation that you just couldn't see your way out of, we knew to fall on our knees and pray and say, God, listen, you gotta have this son. I would say, I was like, God, that's your man. He ain't even mine. You need to get with him because that's yours. And I need you to fix it, you know, but that prayer thing really helped us to get to our next in those situations where it seemed like we weren't going to come out of a prayer. And he's a praying man too. He would be praying too. And I'd be like, God, I don't know what he praying. He ain't praying like I want. I need this fixed immediately. You know?
I will say to you though, I will say to you all that is I always give her this credit. I'd say that my wife, and I know the Bible speaks of, you know, man being the spiritual head of the house and all that, but I will have to admit that my wife brought me closer to God. My wife has done that for our three boys. My middle son, who is a mini me, he's my mini me. He's my mini me. And I forget, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, we're driving, and I get frustrated. I get road rage. I get frustrated with drivers and stuff. And so we're driving, and so I'm mad, and I'm huffing and puffing and whatnot. And in my vehicle, and when both my vehicles, I keep a Bible in there. And so my sons were in the back seat, and my middle son picked up the Bible, didn't open it up, but quoted scripture to talk me off that ledge. I mean, because I was hot. I was hot. And he told me, and I had to tell him later. Think it is strange for your dad to be saying this to you, but thank you, son, for quoting scripture, for reminding me of how I should be. And it makes me proud. And I have to say that,
Sure,
that it is because of her that our boys are as grounded as they are. They really are. Now, they get a lot from me in ambition and business acumen and all that, but that spirituality, that empathy, that love of people, that compassion for people, that is her 100%.
You know,
100%.
and
I love her for it.
It's that, Tony, because scripture says that the fathers are to discipline. It says, sons, take heed. The fathers are to discipline the children, but the mother is to give them instructions.
Mhm.
You see what I'm saying? So the mother is to give them instructions. So your son was only following off of the instructions for times such as that. Go to the word and speak it into existence.
Yes, he did.
You find what I'm saying? I have another question because I know we got about another 12 minutes left. But
and you answered all the questions, honey. I haven't gotten.
well, I mean, I'm co-hosting, baby. I'm trying to help you do this thing. I'm trying to tell you, hey, Bishop, I'm trying to help you get through this.
Yeah, that's what he's hosting,
You bring a professional on, I got to do my job. That's all. But the point I want to make,
You might have to bring him on.
Also the other point that I wanted to make, because not only what Mother Campbell talked about in terms of love, you got to have that kind of love that you look for the good and not the bad, even in your mate. Because if you don't look for the good, then you're going to end up sleeping with the enemy. But the other issue is that really helps us, and I know all of us been through this particular point. How did you overcome the financial challenges that you encounter through a marriage? Because when money
you
is
be having good ones though, baby.
when money becomes a problem, oh, that's my money. No, that's your money. Well, what about our money? the point I'm asking.
That's the word. How?
You understand what I'm saying? The money challenges, Bishop. Maybe you and then Tony can interject, and Tanya. How did
you ain't asked me to interject?
How do you overcome? I'm trying to get some help here too, but even after 30 years. but anyway, how did you overcome the money challenges, Bishop? Because I mean, you came through a time when money was different.
Right.
I mean, a loaf of bread was 5 cents.
Right.
And it was wonderful.
You can get through times, hard times, when you have a wife that is considerate. In other words, when things are really rough and tough, and I say this all the time, if a person is down and they come to you for instructions, you don't get down with them. I said, you don't look down on a man unless you're picking him up.
Right.
And I say this to people several times, that people come to me with problems and crying almost. I said, don't expect me to cry with you. I can try and understand your problem, but I'm going to try and help you up. See, and when you're broke and things are really rough and you have kids and bills to pay, the best thing you could have is a good wife.
Yes, sir.
And that's what I've had all of these 65 years.
Wow.
When things was rough and tough, she stood by me. She never said to me, you don't do. No, she's never, ever. She would always find some way to help me to get up.
Beautiful.
And I'm thankful to God that because of her support with myself and I love my children. She was always there for the children. She was my provider as far as times when boys were playing ball and going for practice. I was working, I couldn't be there. She was always there. She understood. But the good Lord delivered me from some of that later on. But it's nothing like having, Brother Tony, I admire what you were saying and your support for your wife and understanding. And not only that, but listening. Because you have a lot of men today would not have married her, would not have listened to her, would have taken advantage of her, but you didn't. I give you credit for that. You didn't take advantage of her. You got married and seemed like you're a pretty good husband.
and that is by the grace of God and having a great wife to keep me that way, keep me in check. Because sometimes Bishop, I'm a Gemini, and she says it is two sides of me for sure, and I know that it is. But there again, though, the one thing about it though is that I will say is that when and I think this is key for any marriage, when you're married, you got to, and it's just my belief, and I think I'm right on this one, you got to come to a point where it is not, it's no longer a selfish act. It is you're giving yourself to someone else, and that person is doing the same in turn. And for those marriages that don't really work out, I think a lot of it's because you can't get past the selfishness. But when you took that vow, to become one, you have to remember that at the end of the day, it is not about yourself. It's not about self. It's about your helpmate, your loved one, your family. Right. And she keeps reminding me of that every day of our marriage.
Absolutely right.
It's about our family.
One of the things is that a man is actually judged by how well he maintains and provides for his family.
Yeah.
Now the thing is that when do you recognize your role in your marriage?
Well, if I'm going to answer this, I'll tell you is that I've always, Emmanuel, for the while that we've really got to know each other, I think you may see this about me, but I've always just had a desire to be a giver and not a taker. And the thing about that is that from the very onset, before we married, we were just business partners. I never forget, she moved to a new apartment. I went and bought her all new furniture, furnished her old apartment, and everything. Before we were business partners, actually. She was just an employee of mine at the time, but we were close, and I really cared for her, although I was caring for others too. But I cared for her. You know, I was hanging out with others, but caring for her.
Right. Yeah.
But and so the bottom line is, I think she'll admit this, is that literally it was nothing that I wouldn't do for her. But there did come a time, Emmanuel, where I fell on hard times myself. I fell on hard times. Well, it was a couple of times. I fell on hard times when they shut the business down. The state came and shut my business down, and she brought me $20,000. And so every time that I can think about in my adult life where I faced adversity, it's been this woman right here who helped me come out of that adversity every single time. And so when I did fall on hard times later in our marriage, it was her who became the breadwinner, the one that did. And but all the while, constantly reminding me, listen, you need to step up, you need to do this, you need to do that. And to this day, I let her run the money because I'm a different type of person than she is. I'm a spender, you know. I like to make my family happy, so I'll go out and buy stuff for them. But for some reason, I just can't write a check for a bill. I just can't do it. I just can't do it. I can go spend plenty of money at the store to shower her with gifts, but I cannot find it in my will, in my power, to stroke a check to Georgia Power.
Tony, I'm going to say this to you, was so interesting that I can really relate to. And I know Bishop Campbell, throughout your years in ministry and helping people, you know, we are the kind of men that believe in giving and not receiving. We know, we feel service to humanity. We always helping somebody, always giving. And when I came under attack with my company in New Jersey in the prisons, and the adversaries wanted to stop us for our work because I was the only minority contractor in there. My wife may not recall this, but when she read it in the paper and one of the state legislators called her, what she said to her is, they're trying to destroy my husband. And she went on, I mean, her defense mechanisms like, oh, you can mess with anything else, but you better not think about messing with my husband, you know? And I mean, that to me, I mean, that was just so rewarding to hear and feel that kind of love and protection, you know, because when you down, I mean, bro, when you get down and you get knocked down, you know, you need that person that's going to be there and
absolutely.
Have that mate, Bishop, like you say, really lift you up and help restore you and say, I don't know how we gonna get it, but I got faith in you, booby, that baby, that you gonna find a way to make this work for us. And that is the greatest thing, because today in people's marriages, the smell of obstacles or challenges, they ready to throw their marriage away.
Sure.
You know, I mean, they ready to throw it for the ridiculous stuff. I mean, like, okay, he may have a nature in him that you may disagree with, but you don't destroy your institution of marriage.
Work it out.
There's a way, if you stay in the press, there's a way that you're gonna overcome these obstacles. Bishop, what would you advise young people in this regards, or young marriages?
We're gonna do this. I know it's 7:58. I hate to keep y'all long. We're gonna let Bishop answer. We usually go off at 8 o'clock, but my producer said we can stay on a few more minutes. I know Tony and Tanya, you all probably have other things that you have to do as well. So we don't want to hold you past the 8 o'clock hour, but if you want to stay around, you can, but if you have to leave, we do understand.
We're in this thing for the long haul. Listen, I got a lot more to say and a lot more to listen to here. And I really love listening to Bishop, because I really want to see how I get to 65 years with this.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
I know that's right.
Well, when the going gets tough, you don't give up. You just do not give up. Because if you give up, you'll lose the battle. So what you do, you hold on to what you have and reach for more. You do it right. You can't, now you don't need two problems. You really don't need financial problems and other problems, business problems, and then a problem with the wife.
Yeah.
You make sure she has to be in there with you. Know what you may not tell her every little thing, but make sure she understands what's going on. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. You know, you have to hold on to what you have. Don't allow the enemy, I call him enemy, to take away what you have because of some terrible mistake.
Right.
Seek ye first the kingdom. Love your wife. Keep her in what you're going through. That's the best help you can get in the world.
Yes, sir. I do agree.
You can make it. You can make it.
Babe.
One more question.
Oh, honey.
I do agree.
No.
I'm the man.
No.
I'm the man.
Don't forget to pray.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't forget to pray.
Don't forget
And
to
by the way,
pray.
Bishop,
But listen.
One of the other things I wanted to ask, this other question, and that is the role of effective communications.
Uh-huh.
See, we thinking like,
Well,
we
babe,
thinking like,
can I ask a
you-
question? I
hey,
have
Connie, Connie, is he the
on.
new host of the show?
I said I was co-hosting, so here I am.
But
Well-
go ahead, 'cause I was gonna ask to speak to the communication, and then I'll say what. But please speak to that. Yes.
You have to communicate. I mean, how are you going to solve a problem without dealing with it? Now, if she's walking around in the house, not saying anything, looking and acting different, you need to make contact. Hey, what's wrong? What's wrong? Find out what's going on and deal with it. Don't say, well, it's you, not me. No, you have to deal with it. Sometimes you may have to give up some things. You may want to do something different. You may have to change your mind, because if you want to eat tomorrow,
Tony, you ain't want no more mashed potatoes.
But you have to deal with the problem. If you don't deal with it, it will never go away.
Yes,
I
yes.
agree.
And you cannot be 100% right all the time, and she's wrong all the time.
Right.
You have to touch and agree.
What you say?
Sometimes red becomes green.
Yeah.
Sometimes greens become red.
That's right, Bishop.
That's the way you deal with it.
I agree.
Sir.
I agree.
Yes,
You know, it's funny because earlier in our marriage, you know, I would go toe to toe with her. And as time went on, I started to realize, you know what? At the end of the day, she's gonna win. She's gonna win. And
they're gonna win.
And as I got older, not only did she win, but she's always right too. Literally, really always right. So we have these glasses that she bought that's downstairs at my bar, and mine says Mr. Right.
Your juice bar?
Yes. Here's
Bishop on your juice bar.
my juice bar, right. Mine says Mr. Right. Hers says Miss Always Right or something like that. Miss Always Right.
Cute. I saw that. Yeah.
And that is so true about it, you know. But when we do have difficulties and communicate, I kind of learned her personality. I kind of know when she's pouting. Her being upset is never over the top though. It's just quiet. She doesn't talk, and sometimes she won't even speak about the issue until much later on. I guess that's her time to reflect and, you know, and to pray about it and all that stuff as well. But I've started to learn and develop how I try to reel her back in, you know, and how to sit around and wait and kind of figure my next move. It's like playing chess, my next move. And it usually involves me coming up behind her, or, you know, Bishop, forgive me here, but I might pat her on the behind or something, you know, or something. And that I know she don't really like it, so I'll do it. And that'll get her to start talking. And then, you know, and I'll just try to ease my way back in. But we got this nice little form of communication that gets us back on track. Because I do agree with you, Bishop, that, and you as well, Emmanuel, I think you said it too, is that going to bed mad, I believe that opens the door for the enemy. It opens the door for the enemy. So I like what you said, Emmanuel, leave the man outside the room, maybe pick it back up the next day, but leave it out of the room. I believe that. I like that. I like what you all said as it relates to that. But communication is key to everything. If you just indulge me for minutes, I told Emmanuel about this marriage retreat that we go to every year for the last 13 years or so. And I never forget the first year we went, she took me kicking and screaming. I was just like, I'm not going to some retreat that have us over. Church folks tell me how our marriage should be. And I'm telling you the whole way, I'm like, the whole drive, I'm like, just kind of like, the only solace I had was the fact that we were about to see some other couple friends of ours that were going to be there and all that stuff. But let me tell you something, that first marriage retreat changed my life. It changed my life. It took me going to this retreat and hearing from this marriage retreat is 500 couples, 1,000 people, right? And you have couples that are 65 years in. You have couples that were just married 2 weeks before the retreat or stuff like that. But you get all these perspective, and it is such a powerful thing to me. And we go every year, and here's what happened. Not only did God change me and change or gave me a little better insight, because I was already in a good place, but gave me even better insight, spiritual insight as to what a marriage should be. It did so much for me that literally, I promise you, every single year, we invite more and more couples to the retreat. And every single year, there's a couple that we invite that's going through it, and I'm on the verge of being divorced. And after that weekend marriage retreat, they are renewed, restored, have faith and belief in their marriage, and they excited, they have a good time. And it's just something about seeing 500 other couples with varying married years under their belts share love, and you see the love and all that. It is amazing. It is truly amazing. And that for me is the highlight, one of the highlights of my year, is to go to this marriage retreat. So not only can I get the word, but I can spread the word to those couples that need it, for sure. Beautiful. And I'll tell you, it's been a blessing even to be with you all tonight. Bishop, I was going to say to you, I'm coming to New Jersey so you can meet your newest godchildren. All right.
Looking forward to that.
Thank you so much. It has truly been our joy, our pleasure to just have you all on. I don't want to hold too much longer, but what I do want to say, this little tidbit that I'm going to share, this little tiny bit that I'm going to put out here is that, and I think that for our viewers who may know my husband and I, one of the things I wanted to absolutely positively share with, and this goes to one of the questions that we received, is that blending families starts before you have children. So before because the question was, my husband has children, I have children, we've been having difficulty blending. And what I said to the young lady in counseling was that you have to remember, when you marry an individual, you're blending one another. There are two people coming together. If there's no children involved at this point, but you have to remember that there's two spirits coming together, two lifestyles, two cultures, right. Two different ways people have been raised. So those two individuals, you have to first blend together as a husband and wife before you talk about, well, our children aren't blending well. Blend well with your mate. Right. And when you blend well with your mate, the blending of the family will come together in time. It doesn't happen all the time, overnight, immediately, but eventually when the two become one and those spirits begin to blend, he understands my ways, I understand his ways, he learns me, I learn him. Marriage is a give and take, and it takes a lot of work. We didn't get to 30 years and 23 years and 65 years by everything just being wonderful and just being rosy. It has taken work on all of our parts to be able to sit here and have this conversation with you. And I know the people are saying, no, we can't, y'all can't go, but we have to go. We can't keep our guests all night. But I want to say thank you to Bishop and Mother, who have just been such a tremendous blessing. Yes. I don't know, the people, it might be in high demand. Y'all might have to come back. We're gonna try to keep y'all from not coming, but the people absolutely loved your story, loved your testimony. Tony and Tanya, powerful, 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 you know. And my husband and I, we also have a story to tell, but tonight it was really about our audience and our viewers getting to know some other couples that have endured this thing called marriage and have worked through those things in their relationships in different circumstances. So we pray here at Our Point of View that, you know, you could go away with something. You can check us out. We will be on the replay on Facebook Live. You can go to our YouTube channel, Our Point of View Talk Show on YouTube. It will be uploaded within 24 to 48 hours over there after we finish doing what we have to do on this end. But I want to say to our viewers, thank you so much. To Mike, our producer, to Jackie. It has been an extreme pleasure. So much fun. We didn't get to all of the questions because my sugar pie, but you was on it, boo. I must tell you, you did good.
I mean, what other questions can you have but what I
had?
Good.
You did good.
You don't bring the man on. Good. Hey, Tony, hey, Pop Campbell, you don't bring the man on.
That's right.
You know, I mean, I'm going to cover all the bases. You did. But your marriage is your commitment, communication, your money, your love.
That's
you understand? I mean, what else? What else can it be? I mean,
let's get that Bernie Mac. Well, I was waiting for that Bernie Mac.
And after
here, America.
After 65,
we just took it up a notch. Mr. Campbell, Mother Campbell, Sister Tanya, and Brother Tony, we just took it up another notch. Yeah. So next season, we should be really off the chain.
Well, we want to stay here at Our Point of View. Thank you to our viewers. This is the end of our season 5. We will be back again with season 6. Thank you to all of you who have loved on us and continue to watch us and support us. Please continue to do so. Please check out our JSL network that's up and rising. Jacqueline Shealy Lewis, she has her own network. That is our producer. You can go and check that out as well. But I want you to remember that once you leave this show, everything you've heard and everything we said was our point of view. Have a great night, everybody, and thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye. Thank you, Bishop, Mother.
Bless you. Bless you. We love you.
Tanya,
love you. Thank you.
I love y'all. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful. Thank you, baby. Fantastic job. I love you. Thank you.
Is there some more of that?
Keep it up.
Hey, Tony, is there some more of that?
Let me get some of that.
Oh, come on.
5 years.
65, still working.
6